Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday, wherever you are in the world. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Tierney from the Heart Next Door, and you are here for the Future of Maternal Health Roundtable series, which we are super excited about. This has been an incredible monthly series that we've been doing this year where we have been amplifying the voices of incredible change makers and maternal health leaders across the nation and even more the world that are doing phenomenal things. And today, as it is the last Tuesday of the month, we have an amazing theme, another extraordinary panel for you guys. I'm so excited to introduce them one by one. And our theme that we are talking about tonight is community. As we have been having our events, that's been such a recurring theme whenever we ask the question of what does it really require for us to build a world where no mother dies giving life? What does it really require for us to build a world with better maternal health outcomes? And the recurring answer that we kept getting continually was community. And it makes so much sense, right? We all need one another. And so the three phenomenal ladies that I'm excited to introduce you to are leaders, they are change makers, and they are women that I personally admire so much. So I'm so excited to bring them up. And here they are, one by one. The first that I'm excited to welcome to the stage is Miss Katina Poe. Katina, how are you? Can you hear me? I think once you come off mute, you'll be good, Katina. Okay. While Katina's working on that, let's bring up. Oh, Katina, can you say something now? Okay. While Katina gets her audio together, let's bring up the next phenomenal panelist, which is Cindy Eggleton. Welcome, Cindy.
It's good to be here.
So great to have you. And I'm going to go ahead and read your bio. For those of you who do not know, Cindy Eggleton is the co founder and CEO of Brilliant Cities. She has a long history of working with, for, and by families to build a Detroit and a nation where children and families have what they need to be successful. At the United Way for Southeastern Michigan, she oversaw a $60 million education portfolio and brought the Federal Social Innovation Fund to Detroit, supporting efforts to improve high school graduation rates and retain over 15,000 early child caregivers and more. During her time as CEO of Brilliant Detroit and now Brilliant Cities, she grew Brilliant Detroit to serve more than 22,000 children and caregivers with more than 200 organization partners operating out of 24 neighborhoods. Her work has earned her numerous recognitions, including Crane's 2018 Notable Women in Nonprofits, ARP's 2020 Purpose Prize, the 2022 Elevate Prize, and the Medal of Honor for Community Transformation and Humanitarian Leadership by the World Peace and Diplomacy Organization. She sees this as the work of her life and is committed to growing this impact to affect population level change in Detroit and beyond. Welcome again, Cindy. So honored to have you.
It's great to be here. Honored to be with you.
Yes. And our next panelist that we're going to bring to the stage is Karen Bell Martin. Welcome, Karen.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Of course, so happy to have you. For those of you who do not know, Karen Bell Martin is the founder of Bump and Beyond Family Services. She is a certified birth and postpartum doula serving families through Raleigh and Wake Forest, North Carolina. She is guided by her Christian faith and a heart for serving others, passionate about walking alongside families during one of life's most sacred and transformative seasons. As a birth doula, she provides continuous emotional and physical support during labor through comfort techniques such as breathing, relaxation, massage, positioning, and encouragement, while helping families communicate their birth preferences with confidence. As a postpartum doula, she offers practical guidance, emotional support, and reassurance as parents adjust to life with a newborn, helping them build confidence and find joy in finding their new normal in their new roles. Her approach is rooted in the belief that caring for families is both a calling and a ministry. Whether she's offering hands on support, a listening ear, or words of encouragement, her desire is for every family to experience hope, peace, and dignity through their parenting journey. Welcome, welcome again, Karen. So honored to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Katina, I'm going to introduce you. Can you hear us now? Okay, Katina, I may have to bring her up on the phone, but I'll just read her bio so you all know. Katina Poe is the founder of Amina Adair Midwifery. Katina is a proud native of Meridian, Mississippi, and was raised in Nashville, Tennessee. She earned her Bachelor's of Science in Biochemistry from Oakwood University in Huntsville, Alabama in 2010, followed by her Master's of Science in Nursing with a clinical specialty in nursing midwifery from Vanderbilt University School of Nursing in 2013. She moved to Houston, Texas in 2013 to work as a maternal child specialist at UTMB and then on to Texas Children's Hospital Pavilion for Women Specialists of Houston as a full scope nurse midwife in 2016. In December of 2021, she started Amina Adair Midwifery, an out of hospital boutique home birth practice that serves the Houston community, providing honest to goodness, low risk maternal care. Stepping further into her calling and purpose, Katina spoke on various panels and at conferences concerning maternal health, more specifically, Black maternal health. Welcome, welcome again, Katina. So honored and excited to have you. Okay, so everyone, before we jump in, Katina, I want to just say to you, I can hear you, but if it's easier for you, you can leave and then come back and hopefully we can hear you then, okay? But in the meantime, we're going to jump into the questions because the show must go on. So, with our two lovely panelists that we have, I'm going to invite both of you to answer this question while we wait for Katina. So, the first question I want to ask is tell us about your origin story. What brought you to this work? Starting with you, Karen.
I've always really kind of um, had ministry at the forefront of my mind. So it's always been about women and children and families. Um, I feel like that is the bedrock of community. And so my whole thrust has always been to provide whatever kind of assistance, whatever kind of um, upholding I can give to the family unit. It is super, super important that moms, for me, know that it's a ministry. Like it's not, I'm just a mom, because I hear that so often. And so after hearing that quite a bit, no, you're not just a mom. You're a superwoman. You do so many things, and you're shaping the future by being a mother first and foremost. And you are amazing. Like you mother like no one else can, because you have your own way of doing things. No one else will ever pass through the same way and do the same things you do. So absolutely, you're not just a mom. You're absolutely amazing.
Definitely. Thank you so much. That's beautiful, beautiful affirmation. And what about you, Cindy? What brought you to the work that you do?
Yeah, and so thanks, Karen, for giving such a great answer, and I get to go behind you. So I think there's really two things, and one is more recently from the work I'm doing right now, I was on the funder side and I had a $60 million portfolio, which sounds like a lot. Um, and I saw sort of what worked in that and what didn't work. And what wasn't always there that was people, mothers, at the center of the work, believing deeply that people know what's best for them. And it's important to honor that. The second truth about me is I'm a first generation high school graduate. My family did come from poverty. A little known fact of my mother in maternal health is she was the last of 9 children, and the only one that was born in a hospital because the community came together because it was a high-risk pregnancy and paid for her to be born in a hospital. So that shaped my care for community, our babies, my mother, and actually looking at what works and what we need, which is oftentimes not just medical, etc. It's each other.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, definitely. That's so beautifully said, and I can't echo that enough. And while we give Katina, I'm sure she'll rejoin us and she'll have a chance to answer the question. But Cindy, you specifically do a lot of communities at the heart of the work that you do at Brilliant Detroit and now Brilliant Cities. And, we often talk about all the time just the theme, the saying that we hear so often, it takes a village, right, to raise a child. And when we say village, it can sound like a metaphor, but you at Brilliant Detroit and now Brilliant Cities have made it so real. And so the question to you is, what does a functioning village actually look like in your work? Who is in it and what holds it together?
Yeah, I think there's some principles there. One is, I think in our work and as an organization, it is designing around values and principles. And in that, creating a village which is with, for, and by, not telling people, doing, or saying you're going to be part of a village, but
Mm-hmm.
actually seeing people for where they are and creating it where it's created by others. And so I think that's a principle that we've really stood for, and that means we're hiring from community, we're listening in community, we have advisories, we're activating on what people say because they own their own future. They are a village. I think the other couple of things is to be present, to show up, is not, again, just to do a thing, a service. Somebody once said to me, organizations provide programs and services. A community is there for each other. That's what a village is. It's really being able to show up and be there for each other and calling each other out when that is not the case. So I think it really takes the intention and, again, the values and the principles to come together. What I can tell you about our work, and one of the things I'm most proud of, is in our last evaluation, the number two thing people felt that they came to our work for is they felt they belonged and they were connected in ways they never had been in their life. And let me say, that is what makes everything. We're social human beings, and so we need that.
Definitely, that's so beautiful, and I can echo that statement having, when I just had, about 3 years ago now, when I first moved to Detroit, um, Brilliant Detroit was one of the first places that, I took my son and I immediately when we went into the hub, that's exactly what I felt was community and belonging, and, that's why we're connected to this day, so it is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Katina, can you hear us now? Fingers crossed.
And I
Yay!
Yay!
Yay, yay. Welcome, welcome. Okay. All right, Katina. So the question that we have for you, we're going to bring it back to you. And also, while we're bringing it back to Katina, I see we do have some people in the studio. If at any point you guys feel free to, contribute and comment and add your questions in the chat, and we'll be sure to address them as we go. Thank you guys for being here. Katina, the question for you is, we know that you all are phenomenal leaders, and every leader has an origin story, a moment when you decided to stop waiting and start building. What called you into the work that is maternal health, and what did your community teach you along the way?
That's such a great question. So I would say that I had a birth into midwifery and then a rebirth. And so the birth began when I was, I think, a junior in college and trying to decide what am I going to do with the rest of my life and going into a season of prayer of what's next because nothing can't be the answer. And midwifery is the answer that was given to me. And I definitely prayed a prayer that if this is meant for me, that the doors would open. Um, no windows or anything like that. I need doors. I need it to be unencumbered. I need it to be smooth. I don't want to work backwards. I want to work forward because my degree was not in nursing or midwifery, and I just wanted to continue to move forward. And so those doors opened. My goal wasn't just to deliver babies, but it was to be in a place where I can educate women about their bodies. I felt like growing up, I didn't know a lot and I was very self educated. And at that point, it was like, I definitely need to educate other people about this. And then it grew into that belief of wanting to educate women, and then the holistic side of me and the way that I was raised that aligned, that brought me into midwifery. I would say about probably 8 years ago. It was actually the retreat that I met you on that I would say that the rebirth began. Um, and the rebirth was me leaving the hospital setting and understanding that midwifery was art, knowledge, and spirit, and really leaning more into the spirit of it. And I think that I'm still in this rebirth because now I have a lot of undoing happening and coming more into a more whole version of midwifery that isn't just nurse midwifery, which some people would say it's more like medical or more obstetric inspired. And I'm shifting into just a more woman centered, more feminine space where we listen to science and spirit. So I would say that I'm in the rebirth, and my community is who inspired the rebirth of it because I began to listen. I began to listen to their stories. I began to hear them when they said they feel unsafe at the hospital. And so I had to take accountability for that and be responsible and say, you know what, you're right. And then I left the hospital. And I have been on this journey of community birth and community work since then, and it has been a road, and I learn from every birth. I say I'm rebirthed with every birth because I've learned something new, and I leave every birth as a new version of myself as a midwife. So that's my story.
Beautiful, beautiful. And it's so I'm happy you brought up like when we met at the retreat because I think that was a rebirth period for both of us. I had no idea that I would even I wasn't a mom at that time, nor had I even thought about maternal health. So it's been beautiful to watch your journey unfold in midwifery and you to leave the hospital and evolve to where it is now and the alignment of us coming back together. So thankful that you're here. And now back to you, Karen. Can you share a moment when community showed up for a mom in a single way that no single system or provider ever could?
Sure, that's an awesome question. Um, I see it pretty much with most walking through most births. As a doula, prenatally, there's a lot of questions that need more than me just answering or their midwife or their OB. It literally is about if you can kind of think of that person's life as a tapestry. And so all of the individual community organizations, they're all strings in that on that tapestry. And as every string comes together, it makes a picture. And so that picture that's made imprints on that mother's life. So there are moments where I'm there listening ears, but while I'm listening, I'm also able to say, but I know someone that can help you with this, or I know someone that can do this, or here's a support group. And as you watch the person, go and they chain link, because it's kind of looking at like chain linking together. It's pretty amazing because if it was just on me to come up with what they needed, you need so many things because we're made of many things, if that makes sense. You need your mind engaged, you need your heart engaged, you need your spirit engaged, and then you need to have an understanding of what's coming so that it takes away from the fear, so that it takes away from the unknown, and that person's able to kind of walk into their calling. So, you know, I have I see it all the time. It's not just one story. It's when you get added to that person's story.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Thank you so much. That's so beautiful. I really appreciate you lifting that up. And now back to you, Katina. Maternal health and family wellness touch so many different disciplines, right? Birth work, mental health, nutrition, faith, education. In your experience, what does true collaboration across those spaces require of us? Okay, looks like we lost Katina for a little bit. Apologies for the tech issues we're having tonight, guys. This platform. So, technology is usually very friendly to us, and tonight it's not. Okay, so we'll come back to Katina as soon as she signs back in, and we'll go to you, Cindy. The question for you is about partnerships. Partnerships sound so beautiful, but they're actually also a lot of work. Shared credit, shared resources, shared vision. What have you learned about what makes collaboration thrive versus what makes them fall apart?
Yeah, I think I get asked this all the time on partnerships, and we work with over 150 partners. And I think the main thing that I want to say works is to make sure I'm using the word values a lot today, but make sure first your values align. Oftentimes, when people are doing partnerships, they're looking for what are you going to do? It's almost a legal contract. And instead, where we like to start is, are we on the same page? Do we see that? And then what are we doing? What are you doing? And is there value between us in terms of how to get that done? The other pieces, and this is an example of values, we put our families right at the center. We care about them the most, right? We feel they're in the driver's seat. So that's kind of golden. And when we don't have that, we know it's not going to work. So I would say the thing that does work the best is actually to get to know each other and function as a partnership, not a contract first. And when you do that, we come together. And we're talking about maternal health. And I think one of the biggest things when we talk about midwifery, etc., is people do better when they are cared about, when they feel that they're in the center. Karen, I see you shaking your head because this is your faith. And that's actually the science of it. So that's how I would look at it. And the other thing on partnerships is we do no competition. We honor who's coming into the room and what they have to give and what their gifts are. It's important for us to know those gifts and not dictate what it should be. And I think because of that, we're often sought out to do partnerships and it works. And again, the thing I want to say is the group that is at the center of everything we do are those individuals we're working with, not the organizations.
I love that. I love that, Cindy, especially that touches on what you mentioned earlier, the concept of with, for, and by us. So that's so beautiful. Thank you so much. And Katina, now the earlier question that we were bringing to you that I love for you to weigh in on is when we think about maternal health, there's so many different disciplines that it touches from birth work to mental health, nutrition, faith, education. In your experience in midwifery and maternal health, what does true collaboration across those spaces require?
You're absolutely right. It does. It requires a multidisciplinary approach, and from each individual, it requires a lot of us in the healthcare like to stay in our lane, right? But it's like we have to acknowledge that we're on a highway and then we have to share it. And so it requires that we talk to one another, that we're open to hearing each other's opinions on things and relying on each other's expertise on things, and that we don't make assumptions. And so you brought up nutrition because nutrition is so important. I am not a nutritionist. I am a nurse. I am a holistic provider, but I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian. And so it's so important for me to acknowledge that and know that, yes, I can start someone off, but it's beyond me. And if we need to get more in detail, then we need to integrate someone who specializes in nutrition. Same thing with mental health. I am a wonderful listener, but it is not my specialty. Okay. My experience with that goes up into midwifery, but if you need a mental health provider, that needs to be integrated in. And that communication needs to go both ways, right? Because I'm the first person that they get to, that they speak to. And so that provider that I'm referring them to, we need to have open communication and not just say stay in your lane, but understanding that it's going to take our collaboration to do this. And so it's not just nutritionists, it's not just mental health providers, it's not just doulas and midwives. What we are facing is a healthcare system breakdown when it comes to maternal health, and we need to be able to integrate cardiologists, endocrinologists, and those type of specialties, because the beast that we're fighting is beyond us. And so we are seeing different numbers with midwifery care, but I am one to say and to know that there are some things that are just beyond me. That doesn't mean that, and I tell this to clients all the time, it does not mean that you cannot have me as part of your care, that I cannot be your midwife, because midwifery brings a whole nother element to it. But we do need to work with other providers so that we can bring the best care possible. And so if I were to bring it all together, it needs like an integrative, multidisciplinary, layered approach with open communication, with honesty and transparency. And we need to move on a highway where we're changing lanes. I don't know. I think you told people I live in Houston. I do. And people are always changing lanes without a signal, and it's craziness. But that's how we have to work. It's almost like a dance that we have to do in order to give women what they need. But yes, I would say those are the key ingredients to collaboration.
Yes, I love it. The idea of integration and not isolation. And that is a perfect segue into our next question for you, Karen. There are so many leaders in this space across maternal health and family wellness and community that are building brilliant things in isolation from one another. What would change for families and for moms if we connected our efforts instead of duplicating them?
That's a loaded question. So, one thing I would say is to stay curious. Stay curious about listening, stay curious about, and that's across the board, because the moment you lose that curiosity, it becomes disjointed. So, if I'm curious, I'm listening to my client and they say this, and this is wrong. Okay, if I'm curious, I'm going to be thinking about her on a full spectrum, as opposed to thinking about, let me try to fix this problem or fix that problem. The reality is, when God deals with us, he takes us the whole system and he plugs in where we need it. So if we can kind of have that mentality of plugging in, and not only ourselves, but others where we need it, then that person can become the whole authentic person they're supposed to be. Because it's about maternal mental health, maternal health in general. It's not just about, I went to a hospital and had a baby. Your life is about to change and you are becoming a whole new self. Not only are you becoming a whole new self when you have your baby, your partner becomes a whole new self. Your extended family becomes a whole new self, because that wasn't there before. And so then it becomes, at this point, how can I help be a point in it? How can I help be a place of healing? So when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at healing. I'm looking at deliverance. I'm looking at, maybe she didn't know that she could do all of these things, because when you're pregnant, your body does weird things, and you didn't know that you could do more than what you've always done, right? But then maybe by her going through and saying, okay, I can get through stage 1 labor. Okay, then she gets to the stage 2. Now she realizes that she can do more than she did at stage 1. And then she gets to stage 2. And it's a whole nother ball game because now I'm completely bossed up because, hey, I made it to stage 1 and I got this. Okay, it may be kind of crazy, it may be kind of weird, but I got this. And you know what I see dads do? When mom gets that way, then dad comes along and he's the dad that he needs to be, right? Before baby even gets here, he's the dad he needs to be. And so they get through the second stage, and then there's this beautiful thing that happens during the pushing stage because he's right there being protector and she's doing her job. And then baby gets born, everybody's happy. Then visitors come and they're going, whoa, there's something a little different about you. There's something a little different about your interactions. That's what happens when midwife or doctor is doing their job. That's what happens when doula's there going, you can make it, you got this, whatever you need, I'm going to be that for you. That's what happens when dad's going, I don't know if I want to look at all that. That's too much. And I'm there to go, hey, but you got this because you're dad and I got faith in you. I got faith that you can do this thing. And I'm right here. If you think you can't, I'm still right here with you. Do you see what I'm saying? So we're all doing our own little parts. It's no matter how you move through the whole situation, whether it's doctors, extended families, when everybody's doing their part and everybody stays curious as to how they can help, how they can heal, how they can rebuild, that's when the real beautifulness of what's supposed to be holistic happens.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. That's so beautiful. I remember in a previous roundtable that we had, that was the question. There was a midwife who was sharing that some families or some practitioners may come to her and say, I don't know how to help, I don't know what to do. And then she pointed out a beautiful thing. She said, just start by asking, how can I help? You don't have to have all the answers. Just start by asking, how can I help? Sometimes it's as simple as that. And if everyone does that collectively, it can have a really great impact. So thank you for sharing that, Karen. And now I want to come back to you, Katina, for this next question. We know that community care for moms looks different across culture, geography, and lived experience. But how do we honor those differences while still building bridges between our communities so no mother is left without a village?
I actually have to take Karen's answer with this one because it extends to that when caring for women in the community of different origins, that we acknowledge what we know and what we don't know, and then we ask. But you have to be open and willing and transparent to say, you know, I've never taken care of someone with your background before. Can you tell me? Can you teach me? So there's that spirit of curiosity. Can you teach me how you all do things so that I can honor that? I want to be respectful and I want to honor it. And then we take what they are teaching us, and we can do our own research as well, but we take what they're teaching us and we integrate it with our knowledge, right, that we have, and then we bring it all together, we integrate it together, and now we have the true spirit of midwifery, of meeting each person where they are, meeting each family where they are, and then creating that rapport and that relationship to say, I understand that this is your tradition, I understand that this is your background, and then here we're going to bring you into the present. This is our reality, this is what needs to be done, and I want to honor that, but I want to find a middle ground, just in case it's in conflict. It's not always in conflict. I'm always here to learn new things from new cultures. But if I'm seeing that it's taking us from what we consider within normal limits, how do I bring us back? How do I find that middle ground? How do I meet you where you are so that the care continues to be holistic, but it also continues to be safe? Because let's be honest, there are some foods that we need to let go of in pregnancy that we are culturally attached to, that it may have worked for your auntie, sister, and cousin in them, but it may not work for you because you're in your own body and then you have your own experience, right? And culturally we may have this lifestyle, and this even goes for Americans as well, We have different cultures and lifestyles here in America with American origins. And so we have to be able to ask with curiosity and not judgment,
Mhm.
and being open and saying, okay, let's take baby steps, right? But then there's also that humility of, I don't know everything. And so I can't be judgmental and say, well, because this is not in the textbook and I've never seen this before, it's wrong,
Mhm.
right? It's more of, tell me more about that. Tell me why you all do this. Where did you hear this from? Actually, can we invite your mom to a visit? Can we invite your grandmother, your auntie, sister, cousin, and them? Can they come to a visit? I would love to learn more and see how we can make this work for everyone, because my priority and my goal is to keep you safe, mind, body, and spirit. And that means that I do culturally respect and honor everything that you're bringing to the table. And so that goes back into my rebirth at every birth, because now I'm learning something new at every birth, because everyone has something new to teach us. And so I think that's just so important that we ask for their help, because women have agency over their body
Mhm.
and they can make decisions. We're just here to give them the knowledge and share the experience that we have and let them make the decisions. And so spirit of curiosity, honoring them for what they bring to the table, and then meeting them where they are.
Mhm. That's so beautiful. I love that, curiosity without judgment, and again, that point about just affirming the fact that women have agency over their bodies, because I think that is such a that's a piece I think that doesn't get amplified enough, especially when we have conversations and talk about moms who maybe they're a newer expecting mom, or we have a lot of moms who face fear when going into the hospital or different things like that. But it all comes back to the same truth, right? Like, we've been birthing babies for generations and we'll continue to birth babies after that because that's what our bodies are created to do, right? And so we have that agency over our bodies. Thank you for that. Cindy, this next question is for you. Let's imagine the maternal health ecosystem 5 years from now. If the leaders across the field worked as one village, what does that future look like? And what's the first bridge that we need to build to get there?
Yeah, this is a complicated question. And I think it builds on the other questions. And how do we work together? Um, what should we do, not do? I think, let me just say, I have a vision in general of where we're going to be in maternal health, but in all things in the next 5 years. We need to build an infrastructure that has people and community at the center. Let me say that again. An infrastructure that has people and community at the center. And what I mean by that is we've become so disconnected. And in particular, for women of color, etc., you're disconnected. The systems that exist, it's not necessarily about working together, it's about working differently and about understanding the value of community and people. Tierney, you know this yourself. Like you're not numbers. And I think that is going to take all of us a lot of work because we have, maybe closed our eyes and see that we're not connected anymore. We're not the village anymore. How do we return to that? And so that's the first thing is to build that infrastructure. That's part of what we're doing with Brilliant is to create spaces that people can come together, that are houses in the middle of neighborhoods. And I'm going to say we have great outcomes, but what's most important is that people find each other. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, in terms of coming together, I think it is about if you have a people-centered community approach, you are looking to resolve whatever happens on maternal health with certain ways that you're going to do it. And I think we can and should build that. And I just now see the brilliance of your questions from village to community to collaboration. My hope is the future is that's what it is, as opposed to all the technical coming together, or it's in addition to that. That is what we need. Studies show that even with hospitals, they don't serve everybody equally. And so I think that's what I would say. The future of maternal health is one where people feel connected. They do not feel alone. They
Mhm.
do feel they have each other. It is the beginning of a life and of lives together.
Mhm.
And so that's my hope. And it's going to take some work to do that. And it's going to take some out of the box thinking. But I think if we do that, we can be unbreakable.
Mm. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cindy. That is like a documentary I saw recently where they said that even though we're more connected than we've ever been, social media wise and with technology, we're still more disconnected than we've ever been
Yeah,
across
right.
humanity, right? And it's just so interesting.
We're not connected as people, and
Yeah,
that's what we need.
definitely more than anything. Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to go to you, Karen, around this topic of community and collaboration. We know that collaboration requires something from all of us: trust, generosity, sometimes letting go of doing it all alone. What is one specific commitment that you believe leaders across maternal health organizations and communities must make right now to be better together?
I would say first and foremost to realize that we are on or in a commission. We're co-laboring together. Without that realization, without really kind of realizing what that means, all the other stuff is going to be kind of difficult because you won't be able to let go of being the silo. You won't be able to genuinely trust or genuinely be able to connect. I think we do connection, like pseudo connection, like when we're online and social media. I think we do that really good because it doesn't require anything of us so much, and we can have a persona
Mhm.
that we want people to see. But when you are connecting heart to heart, mind to mind, that's a different connection, and your mask has to come off. Your
Mhm.
imperfect has to come off. All of those things that make us human, that make us want to be together,
Mhm.
is discovered in that arena. So I would say maybe just knowing that you're on a commission, you're co-laboring together. When you're co-laboring, it's like oxen that are um, yoked together. They're in step, they're in time. One is not pulling the other oxen down the street or going to the right and the other one's trying to go straight. It's about knowing, hey, we've got a job to do, and that is this person is in front of us and they really need us right now. So whatever we have going on as far as bias, prejudice, the way things always have been done, whatever the issue is, we have to put that to the side, and we're going to put the yokes on, and we're going to choose to go forward in one accord, walking forward. When we do that, then I can trust you because we're yoked together. I can have curiosity and be able to free to be exploring what I need to explore because I know that you've got my back. So even if like I called Katina and I said, hey, I have a client, she's looking for a midwife. Can you help me out? I fully expect because we are understanding that we're both on a commission that Katina's going to be like, oh, okay, well, let me see what I need to do because that spirit of curiosity comes in. So she's going to be curious in her own way. I was curious in my own way to connect her. And then maybe my client needs what Cindy needs or what she provides. So now I'm gonna put the other yoke on Cindy. I'm still connected to Katina, but I'm gonna put that yoke on for Cindy, and we're gonna all move together, right? And that's when you find your tribe. That's what a tribe is for. Many different things happen. Warriors are in tribes, mothers, fathers, children, aunts, uncles. They're all one tribe, but they all do different things, and they are mighty when they're together.
Mhm. Definitely. Beautifully said. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, you all. offers such amazing, amazing insights. And at the core of it all is community and love, right? And so as we start to wind down and get to the end of our program for tonight, the last question is for each of you. And this question will start with you, Katina, again. And so the question is for the mom who's looking for her village right now, for the family that feels alone, or for the leader who's building quietly in their corner of this work, what truth do you want them most to hear right now?
Mm. I think the truth that I think we all need to hear is that it can be done. Mhm. It seems, I think in all the avenues that we all practice, it seems like sometimes it can be impossible because, like Karen said, we can be very siloed. We don't bring the tribe mentality, we don't bring the community, but it can be done, right? We can birth safely, we can birth wholly, we can exist in our feminine power across our lifespans. I think that we also need to acknowledge, and this is just me as a nurse midwife, a lot of times we separate maternal care from women's health,
Mm,
even within our specialties, but it needs to be integrated seamlessly
mm,
because your journey begins before you're pregnant, before we enter maternal health, and it continues after you've had your baby. And so I want people to know that they have the power to get it done, to do the things, even though the system needs to be rewritten. The system needs to say, not over here. Y'all might do that over there, but when it comes to women's health, when it comes to maternal health, we're not doing that over here. What we are going to do, like Karen said, we are going to move as a tribe. We are going to bring community into it. We're not going to do that over here. We have to stand up to the system. And so I need for people to understand that it's not it's not sunshine and butterflies. Yes, babies come to the world. It's a beautiful thing. It's a complicated beauty, but it's not sunshine and butterflies. And so we do have to have that mindset of it can be done and I have to do it. It's and it's something that's being rewritten in real time. And so there is no true blueprint. And so we have to create the blueprint. And so that's where, again, I go back to that it can be done. I can create the blueprint. I can do this. I can do this safely. But I have to put this into action as well. And so I want them to know that they are going to need collaboration, that it's okay to bring in other providers, that it's okay to trust people, that it is okay that there are people who truly want the best for them, and when they face someone who doesn't seem to want the best, it's not so much that they don't want the best, they may not know how to tell you or put it into words where it's like the intent is good, but the way it's received and perceived, there's a disconnect there.
mhm,
And it happens to me. It happens all the time. And it's just like, okay, well, let's talk about it, right? And
mhm,
so going into it with it can be done. I will have to find trust, but I also will also have to advocate for myself,
mm,
but not in a way that we're going for war, because that's also what's happening, right?
mm,
We're at war with this system and it's not getting us anywhere. It's disconnecting us even more. And because we sometimes come in like we're going to have to fight because they're going to be like this and they don't want the best for me and they're going to do all these things, that is one side of it, right? That we have to do this together. But on the healthcare side, we also have to change our mindset of we have to do this together. We have to start listening. We have to start trusting. We have to allow women to speak and listen and trust that they are the experts of their own bodies. And we have to stop ignoring people
mm,
based off of the color of their skin, based off of their age, based off of their temperament. We have to stop doing this. And so yes, we are trying to rewrite the system. We do need to establish trust. We do have to understand that it's going to be layered, and that we are the people who are changing it. And so it's going to be hard. It's not sunshine and butterflies. And that is a truth that I need for every mom, every provider, every midwife, doula, community worker, advocate, that it's not going to be sunshine and butterflies. And to know that their action, their work to make it better, to hold people accountable, is what's going to also be the key to the change.
Mhm. Thank you so much. So powerfully said. Cindy, same question for you. What's one truth you want that mom right now, the family, the leader, what's one truth you most want them to hear right now?
Yeah, I'm going to give couple lines from a poem. I'm going to make it simple because I think a lot of people feel alone. And when you're a mom, that's when you don't want to feel alone. But last year I had to ask myself, with so much going on, okay, what can I do? Where am I? And there's two lines from a poem that really resonate with me. And the first line is, there is no path. That's how we feel a lot of times. The second line is, you make the path by walking. I'll leave it at that. I say that to myself every morning. I get walking. So, and then you will find your tribe.
Thank you. Thank you, Cindy. That's beautiful. And now to you, Karen. Last but not least, what's one truth you most want them to hear right now?
For the mom that's alone, I want her to know that there are a tribe out there and she has to look for it. And they're there. So it's not that we're not out there. And if she feels like maybe they're not listening, maybe they're not valuing me, that might be a good time for you to say, you know what, I need to turn around and do something different and find my tribe that is going to listen, that is going to value me.
Mm-hmm.
For the person that's building quietly in their corner and they also feel alone, I'm going to say King Solomon wore a ring, and on that ring it said, "This too will pass." And the reason he wore that ring was to remind himself that in the good times, hey, this is great, but it's going to pass. But in the bad times, wow, this really stinks, but this is going to pass. And it helped him have an even keel throughout the process of the ups and downs. Because sometimes it gets hard and we give up right when, if we just put our little toe on the other side, like it's right there, and we give up because it was so hard. But the reality is, we are made in the valley. We're not made on the mountaintop.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're in a valley, this is a good place to be. It may feel really ick in the valley, but that's where your character is forged. That's where everything you need to become the person to be able to hold space for that person it's forged in the valley.
Mm-hmm.
So don't despise the small beginnings, and don't feel like something is so hard. If God brought you to it, he'll bring you through it. It's just that it may take steps to get there, but understand that you're on your way. You just have to know that, hey, it might not look like I'm going nowhere right now, but I'm going somewhere. It may look like nobody's listening and nobody cares right now, but someone out there is listening and someone's caring and somebody's making strides for you. You just haven't met them yet.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Karen. That's beautiful, and I could not agree more with that statement. I think a reframe that's always helped me. Yes, Corey also in the chat, she said, "Well said, Karen." A reframe that's always helped me is I used to ask myself, "Oh, why is this happening to me?" But then shifted it to say, like, "What is this teaching me? Like, where is this leading me?" And I think that if we all learn to lean into the dark times a little bit more, then we can all find the light. I know, Cindy, we talk about that too. So yes, thank you so much. That's so beautiful. Wow, what an incredible panel. Thank you so much, ladies, for being here. And I know you all are doing incredible work in your own right. So I wanted to give you all an opportunity to share anything that you may have coming up, any opportunities that you want for to share for everyone to engage with you wherever you are in the world, or if you have anything coming up online, and also just telling people where they can find you. Starting with you, Miss Katina.
So you can find me on all the platforms as Midwife Katina. You can also visit my website, aminaadairmidwifery.com. As far as things that are coming up, I'm sure we'll have some things coming up as far as classes and gatherings. There's nothing specifically on the books right now, but definitely keep up with me. Follow me on social media with Midwife Katina and visit my website at aminaadairmidwifery.com.
Thank you, thank you. Off to you, Cindy.
Yeah, so come be with us as a tribe with Brilliant Cities and Brilliant Detroit. You can find us under both those names on all of the socials and on a website. And if you type in info at Brilliant Cities or info at Brilliant Detroit, just tell us what you need, and we'll respond and see if we've got it for you.
Thank you. And Karen.
You can find me on Facebook, Bump and Beyond Family Services. I'm also on Instagram. Oh my gosh. I think it's Bump and Beyond Fam. You can also find me at www.bumpandbeyondfamilyservices.com.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Well, there you have it. And before we sign off, I just want to say thank you again so much. I just can't echo this sentiment enough. I think one of the, well, just for those of you who don't know, again, this event is hosted by the Heart Next Door, which is my organization. And our mission is to put care and community at the fingertips of new and expecting moms. And it was born, this company and this whole mission was born 2 years ago at the birth of my daughter, who actually just turned 2 last Friday. So what a full circle moment. But yeah, one of the most interesting things is that as I found out about maternal mortality and the maternal health crisis, and I just went straight into wanting to, how can I advocate? How can I help more moms so that, no mom ever dies giving life? And after about a year of doing that, it started to feel a little heavy. I'm not gonna lie. It started to feel heavy hearing so many stories and all because like you said, Katina, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, right? And there is a lot of, hurt and pain that everyone has experienced because of the crisis that we're facing in our country right now. But one of the reframes that's really helped me to further on and carry on this mission in collaboration with the incredible people like you is focusing more on how do we build a world where more moms live, right? Like focusing more on the life. Like how do we get more life out of our moms and out of each other and out of our women? And I think that the central way that we do that is through community. And at the heart of community, there's love, right? And I think when we look at everything that's going on in maternal health, fighting and just like death and all these crazy things that can happen, I think at the core of it, I always think back to this quote that really grounds me. And it says that we should see every behavior as either an act of love or a cry for love. And I think if in every facet, right, in every spectrum, maternal health leaders, providers, hospitals, like moms, everybody, families, if we all just keep that in mind, that at the core of it all, if we have more love for one another, then I think that the future of maternal health definitely looks bright, for sure. It looks bright when I look at all of you. So I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everybody, for watching wherever you're tuning in. We will see you next month for another incredible panel on the last Tuesday of August. And have a wonderful rest of your week. We'll see you next time. Bye. All right.
Thank you.